Hi everyone, my name is Maria. I'm known as FridaySews on social media, and you're in my sewing room or my sewing studio. It's FridaySews. It's been a much quieter week, so I'll take you through a couple of things that I'm working on, as well as a roundup about Blue Mountains Frocktails. The top that I'm wearing is a Merino knit fabric that I bought for, I think it was $5 a metre. And it's probably 12 years old now. I used a Tessuti's pattern for the base of this top. And then I was looking to do a V-neck. It didn't work out. So I grabbed a hoodie and traced that off. So I've kind of got a hoodie neckline so that you can't see what the V neckline looks like. Anyway, I'm still wearing it because it's cool weather now here in Sydney. So on the weekend, I went up to Blue Mountains for Blue Mountains Frocktails. Now that's located in Katoomba and it's about 2 hours west of Sydney, 2 hours by train. I didn't bother driving. I didn't want to drive, not this weekend. I mean, the weather was great and it was actually warm for winter. It's only just started to turn a bit cool at the moment, but that's another story. Now, Katoomba is a suburb that loves its heritage. So a lot of the shops are still in the original buildings. There's the accommodation that we stayed in was warm, it was safe, but I would call it a boarding house that has been turned into apartments. So that was the fun part of the weekend. It was just one night, so no complaining, and it was like a couple of 100 meters away from the Carrington Hotel. So the Carrington Hotel has got a lot of history to it, and the photos that were taken there are beautiful. I was really pleased to have caught up with the ladies from Newcastle that I spent time in Bangkok with. They all wore velvet, and I grabbed, as you can see, this Thai silk type fabric that I had in my stash and made it into something which was 1960s inspired by Balmain, which the late Queen in Thailand was wearing at the time. I really had a great time, got to meet a lot of people. There were about 80 to 90 people. I was really lucky to have won a door prize. Those chocolates are still in the fridge. They're being eaten slowly. You know, talking about Katoomba, small businesses there really value frocktails being run once a year. So the chocolates that I won were from Lura. A lot of the door prizes were from locals. So they weren't just sewing related. So thank you to the local community for supporting Blue Mountains Frocktails. We had a great weekend. So this week I'm doing some catch-up sewing. I'm using the Itch to Stitch Andy's jacket. It's a soft shell jacket design which has got one zipper down the front and 2 pockets at the front. It's very simple, and I'm using, I'll show you the fabric. It's a beige color soft shell fabric. So it doesn't need to be overlocked. I don't need to finish the seams. It's really soft and it'll just be one layer. So it's an unlined jacket that I'm looking forward to wearing soon. I'm taking it slowly because I haven't sewn with this fabric before. The zipper color matches the fabric. The pocket zippers don't, but they match each other. I was toying with, do I cover the tape with the lining fabric so it kind of blends in, and I've decided not to. And that's the sort of choices that we can make because we sew our own clothes. So I'm working on a soft shell jacket at the moment. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm doing a bit of work on this green ponte jacket that I showed people last week that I'd finished. What I didn't like was the base around the hem was kind of pulling a bit. So I've unpicked it and I've just pinned it down so I can decide whether I need to do some hand stitching to make it sit properly under where the pocket is so that it matches. The curve is the same on both sides, but I think the way I've sewn it was a bit silly. Didn't really follow the lines properly. So that's what I'm finishing off today as well. So I'm just folding it up and putting it aside because that'll be project number 2 to finish off. So while I was trying to tidy up and show you what I'm going to be doing next up in my sewing room, I dropped my clips. These are like quarters clips. So I'm going to show you what I use, this little thingy. It's a magnet, an extendable magnet that you get from the hardware store, and it'll allow me to pick up these clips off the floor and around the place that I've just dropped. So that wasn't a planned show and tell, but it's a necessary show and tell because I've just dropped them. Anyway, next up is Sew Organised Style podcast news. It's kind of sewing related as well. On Sew Organised Style podcast next week, Yvette, who is running the Sew Fruity Challenge, is on the podcast. She's also the wonderful person behind Stash Hub. She's running the Sew Fruity Challenge for this month, and it finishes at the end of the month. It's hashtag SewFruity26. And because Instagram is the way Instagram is going at the moment with its hashtags, make sure you tag Yvette's personal Instagram account when you put your post up. These are the two inspirations that I've got. These are two fabrics that I've got for my entry that I'm toying with, and I will probably have them cut out for next week. So the first one is this lemon cotton fabric. I bought this in Bangkok this year when I went with the ladies from Newcastle. It's a print, I think it's probably a sort of print that you would have used or chosen if you were into quilting. I think it was probably like $3 a meter, and it's a really nice weight. It's 100% cotton, so it does crush, but I'm really looking forward to this because it blends, the green in the leaves blends with or goes with the green trousers that I've made recently, and also my green jacket. So it's a really good contrast, or like the white shirt for the green that I'll be wearing for that capsule. Let me put this down. The second fabric that I've got in mind for the Sew Fruity Challenge that I'm looking at here is this print. I think it's a linen viscose blend, and it's got fruit on it. So it's got oranges, peaches, I think, and I've bought it probably 15 months ago. It was from Spotlight, and it's got a lot of fruit and fruit colors. So this will probably end up being a shirt dress for next summer. It is a bit see-through. That's the fabric there, and you can see the print, but I can actually see the camera behind it. So I think the skirt will be a straight skirt, and I'll have it lined. I won't bother about lining the bodice, because if it's a little bit away from my skin or against my skin, I can deal with that. But I think for the skirt's going to need to be lined. Anyway, that's my thoughts about my Sew Fruity entry for 2026. And what else is happening this week is I'm doing the plans for Chanel number 6. I haven't chosen which lint and tweed fabric to use because I've got a couple to choose from. I've got some silk fabrics so that I can line the jacket. I have the silk organza to go in between the two layers. I'm just ticking off the checklist of all the things I need. I have got buttons, I have got trims in my stash. I even have the chain that you put on the inside of the jacket where the hem is, and you put it on, you hand sew the chain onto the inside of the hem once you've finished making the jacket. And there's a lot of hand stitching. It takes me about 18 full days to start and complete a Chanel type of jacket. And as crazy as it is, it actually gives me a lot of joy to do, and it's something that I prefer to do when the weather's cold, because I'm dealing with so many layers. So that's my sort of long-term project that I'm planning. So I'm glad this has been a quiet week. On Sew Over 50 News, I just wanted to make sure that you share Sew Over 50 on your posts on Instagram so that you can be seen by the Sew Over 50 community and keep in touch with over 57,000 followers and in chronological order, because we know that the hashtag and the search facility on Instagram is pretty much shot at the moment. So use at sharesever50 tagged on the photo of your Instagram post when you're putting up your posts on Instagram. And if you want to see your Sever 50 friends in chronological order, go to the Share Sever 50 Instagram account to the tagged section, not the grid, but on the far right hand side where it's got tagged. That's where you'll find everyone in chronological order. And one final point for Everything Frocktails news. In 2027, the Welsh Frocktails is already sold out and there's a waiting list. I just thought I'd let you know that there are still a lot of people out there who are planning their 2027 events and are already selling out. So go to Everything Frocktails. You can, if you're running an event, tag the account or collaborate with at Everything Frocktails so that you can be on that community board of Frocktails across the world. I'd like to send my thoughts and wishes to Melanie in the UK. I know that there's a lot of support that you're getting and a lot of care that you're getting, and just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about you and how you're being looked after. I hope that you've all gotten something out of this week's Friday Sews, even if it's just I'm in the middle of things or I've got a tool that helps me pick up pins and clips off the floor when I drop them. That's all I've got for you today for Friday Sews. Thank you for joining me in my sewing room. My name's Maria. I'm known as FridaySews on social media. Happy sewing everyone, and I hope you have a good weekend. Cheers.